Okay, I think everything's working. I don't see too many issues, and the best part is background noise a little bit more quiet, which is awesome. I might need to amp my character's mouth sensitivity because it's having issues picking that up. Um, sort of alright though. Okay. Let's see if people hop in. Current viewers. Okay, so before I close the stream, I stated that I wanted to do a quick reaction video. I'd much rather wait until this starts fixing up the concurrent viewers before I start playing the video. Right now we're getting a warning stating that I have slightly less stream quality, but that's okay. Everything is working now. I had to download some new software. Apparently there is a plugin called Spout 2 that you need to install. Well, you don't need to install it. It's more of a... It helps. It definitely helps. It automates a lot of what I need to do, and it allows me to use this character that you currently see on screen without too many issues. You can stream directly in OBS without this software, but it's a little cumbersome, I noticed. And apparently you don't get live reaction for any changes you might make. So, we'll see. I think it's working now. We got one person currently on stream. Kind of curious to see who it is. I think the stream is loading for them. By the way, welcome to the stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Maybe I should ping everyone. Why not? Right, this is the announcements. I think I'm pinging. Stream. Do we have a stream ping? We don't have a stream ping. We should definitely make one at some point in time. But that'll be for later. Let's go ahead and let's get started with the video. So the video that I'm about to react to is actually an old project file that I never released. As discussed in the previous stream before I had to close it, I couldn't post this because it was a little outdated by the time I got around to finishing any significant portion of editing for it. I'm not the best editor on the planet, so I can't get things done super quickly. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and react to it and make corrections. It does have some information in it that is valuable, and we can still use that to our advantage here, and we can get some answers to some of the questions you guys might be having. Alright. Let me know if the audio for this is a little too loud. Shouldn't be. I mean, I don't see why it would be. One second, chat. I need to test something out. Oh, okay, it does work. Awesome. Evening, Jessler, and good morning, Akuma. Good morning? I don't think it's good morning. You're staying up. That's okay. Let's quickly restart this video. I'm going to mute the stream in the background. Okay, I think we have a pretty decent concurrent viewer count. And we can start from the beginning. So, like I said before some of you joined, we're going to be reacting to this video and we're going to try to answer some of the questions in it and update some of the information that the video provides. There's some stuff that's shown in the video that is correct, but I will pause and make frequent pauses to do those corrections if there are any that I need to do. Okay, let's go ahead and start this up again. One second. Could you refer to me what you mean by that? I can fix it right now. Is the UI staying like that? I think it's a little too normal. I don't quite know what you mean by that. Here, let me reduce some of the stuff that's on screen. Do you want me to make this smaller? Maybe? Maybe that'll help? Oh, the UI for the game. Okay. We actually had someone in question state that the UI looked a little too basic. We were going over like different designs for the UI layout, and this is the one that we kind of landed on. I don't think it's changing. V did say that he would make some small adjustments to it for things like visibility. The whole point of it is to not block your screen. If you were to open up your inventory, it doesn't obstruct most of your screen either. Some of the UI elements are transparent so that you can look at them through the through your inventory, for example. And this allows you to have more situational awareness. I know it looks a little basic, but there was thought put into UI. But I'll talk to V if he does want to change it. Then there's nothing stopping us from changing it. There was one other option we had, which was to actually make it based off of old RPGs. Kind of. That was actually one of the things we brought up in the development channel. We kind of wanted a mixture between a whole bunch of things. I think it looks okay. I definitely agree with you there. It definitely looks basic, but it's a smart kind of basic. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I can persuade him to make some changes to it. Maybe later today after I'm done streaming. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and continue on with the video. I forgot to unmute myself. I said that all this information so far is true. None of this has changed. So this is all correct. What I failed to mention, though, was that a little bit of the stats that we have for the game may not come to the final version. There are some things we're not sure about. Like for example, there's a race stat that's currently unused, and the idea behind it was this would be how you would transform into an airhate. This would be what keeps track of it, and currently it does not. It does not do anything. I don't think it does anything at all. There are a couple scripts that track it, but there are no scripts that actually enable the transformation. Not right now, anyway. We have to wait until we start working on, I think, layer 5 before we ever consider doing this. Anyway. Okay, so we have some questions in chat. I am in fact muted. I will only unmute if there is something I need to add to the video, or I need to answer some of y'all's questions. I know my character's mouth will tend to move, but that's only because it tracks volume, and it is kind of loud where I am. I'm not actually speaking, and I'll let you know if I am. Akuma has another question. Can we have a library that have early game monster information or encounters once you made it out or not? Will you get information of it? Sorry, I'm having trouble reading that, but I'm going to make a quick assumption on what you mean. There is going to be sort of a progress tracker. There's going to be information that you can collect from various libraries. If you go to a bookshelf, you can interact with it and gain extra information. Otherwise, you'll be doing most of the information gathering yourself. It's actually part of the gameplay loop. You'll have a tree of things that you need to fill out. Like, for example, relics that you discover. That fills out that list. Information on medieval beasts that you need to go ahead and fight or kill or loot. That also fills it out. There are other things like that too. But technically, yes. To answer your question, yes. That is currently already in the game. No, you're good. I'll do my best to answer your question regardless. If I have trouble understanding, I might ask for you to rephrase that question again. But I think I understood that question, at least to the best of my ability. L. Kirby asked another question. Will there be a skill tree? Now this I'm not too sure of. There is a stat tracker that you can look at, but I don't think there's a skill tree. there is a blueprint button that you can check out that allows you to get recipe items and craft or cook. But that's kind of the closest we're ever going to get to that, I think. I could be wrong. I have to ask V. That is a really, really good question. Well, if there are no more questions of that sort, we can go ahead and continue with the video. Feel free to interrupt me at any time if you have another question. Okay, so this is where I can butt in. The date that I bring up here is completely incorrect. As some of you know, we tried to do a release date estimate. We passed that estimate, and we decided that instead of doing an early release, that we would do a closed beta testing. So we hired an entire staff team of freshly added beta testers that we trust, and we decided to just go ham on some of the bugs that we found. The game was not capable of being released at this state, unfortunately. There was just too many problems, too many issues. The game performed horribly. The highest FPS that I recorded from Orth, for example, was 40 frames per second. Horrible. Absolutely, I would not play that. I know some of you guys say that you wouldn't mind bugs on release, but if I were in your shoes right now and I had to play a game at 40 FPS, I would not play it. I would absolutely not play it. I would maybe like take a look at it for a couple seconds and do whatever I do with other Made in Abyss fan games. I would just play for like maybe 10 minutes and then hop off. So we didn't like it. Me and V were like, okay, we need to lock in. We need to not release it because that would be the worst idea ever. Exactly. We opted out of it. We're not going to be doing that. Unfortunately, we're not going to do another release date estimate. The only reason why I did it in the first place was because people kept asking for it, and I kept telling them that this is an estimate, it's not a promise. We are not obligated to release if this date is hit, but some people misunderstood that and they just decided that, oh hey, this is the release date, I'm so excited, yada yada, I get to play an awesome Made in Abyss fan game, and that never happened, and they got really pissed off. So, obviously, I had to go through a bunch of PI testing and PA muting, or whatever the hell you want to call it, like, just to calm everyone down. I had to answer a bunch of questions. I had to, like... This video that you're currently watching right now was supposed to kind of alleviate that issue. But in all honesty, because of this single part, I think it would probably make it worse. And that's why I stopped trying to work on this video. Which is a shame, because I think it's a pretty well edited video. But I took too long to make it, what can I say? Yeah, I might have to skip this part, or we can play it so that we can all cringe at it. That's fine. We'll do it. Okay, so we have a question, a new question, and a quick top off for this current section. Some of this is correct, but I'll get to that later. JKel24 had a question. Will you keep adding more creatures after release in already existing layers? Honestly, yeah. We will definitely be adding more creatures, or at least features, to new layers as we see fit. We'll probably make terrain adjustments if it ends up being too easy or too hard to cross a layer, or it just isn't fun, there's like it's just too plain, or whatever complaint that we come across. I'm sure we're going to get millions of complaints on release. I think a lot of them will be referring to bugs that we tried fixing throughout this extended bug fixing phase, but that's to be expected. This is only being developed by 2 dudes, so we can only do so much. We're not bad at what we do, it's just, you know, this is not an easy thing to do. But to answer your question, yes, we will be adding new features and whatever else we can add to existing layers, if they end up feeling plain. If they don't, and they don't need anything new, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We don't need to add more shit to it. And the reasoning for that is we need to keep track of download sizes for players. We don't want increased loading times, we want decreased loading times, right? The whole point of us starting this project to begin with was so that we can get around the issues that Binary Star had, where it was like a loading screen like every area you walked into. I didn't like that. A lot of other people thought that was kind of stupid. It would have been a good game if it were released on PS2, honestly, but this is the modern era, and a game of this quality should have not happened. But unfortunately, the people who made MIA decided to go for the lowest bidder when they bought a studio to work on the game. And the unfortunate side effect to that is the lowest bidder is cheap. They're cheap for a reason. They're not going to give you the highest quality. They're going to give you a game at the cheapest amount. So for everyone who got angry at the whole MIA thing and started saying that, oh, this would never ever happen, this game is too complex of a concept to ever approach, which I disagree with. I can't remember which YouTuber said it. They said that Made in Abyss would be way too hard to make as a game due to the size complexity of everything. I disagree with that on so many different levels. There are games that are so much larger than MIA's world, like trillions of times larger. To give a quick example, No Man's Sky has like what, something like 1 billion star systems that you can visit. That's insane. That is way bigger than the Abyss. And a lot of the technology they use to get around size limitations like floating point limits that often becomes an issue with large maps. There's just so many ways to get around that problem. So we can make the game as big as we want. The only issue is download size at the end of the day. How long do we want to make players wait? That is the only issue I ever see with approaching a game of this concept. I completely disagree with the idea that it's impossible. We're doing it right now. Or at least the best example of it. There are loading screens in our game, but there aren't as many. Right? Which we're kind of proud of, I'd say. Anyway, continuing on with the video. I think I went on a side tangent to answer that question, but I think that's okay. I have to pause real quick because what I brought up here, we actually talked about in the last stream. Someone suggested that we should do fan art and that I can credit people in the description of my videos. And this would have like the adverse effect of both supporting the artists that made the fan art to begin with and give us promotional pieces to use for our game. I got this idea originally before I got that comment from this video. While I was working on it, I was like, hey, how do I get more developers to work on our project for free, essentially? And I was like, you know what if I use the vast view count that I have on some of my videos, some of the traffic that I have at least concurrent following of 3,000 viewers, whether or not they subscribe to my channel or not. uh, they're there. They just don't want to do anything, right? Unless they find something they're interested in, which is the unfortunate part. But we'll see what we can do to get that traffic going. Anyway, my idea was I would use that traffic to support these artists and these developers. This is still true. I still plan on doing this. If any of you guys are developers and you're interested in joining this project, do exactly what I said in this video. Post your projects in the art channel, type dev reveal as the title of it or whatever, and we'll do some observations on your work, see if you are capable enough to hop on our team. Obviously, we need to trust you. As with any position in our server, we need to know you for long enough to actually add you to our team. And the reasoning for that is quite simple. We are letting you go into a workspace that we belong in, right? There's always a possibility, and I'm not saying that some of you guys would do this. I'm saying that it's a possibility that someone could just go and take our stuff, or they just can compromise our work, which isn't too big of a deal because we can just go back a version, but it's annoying, right? And we don't want that to happen. Although we have security measures placed on our code that allows us to do anti-piracy, it can still happen if the individual is smart enough to do it. And that's always a concern. So obviously we need to filter people out. We need to make sure that when we do hire someone, that they are capable enough to be in the position and they're trustworthy. If any of you guys are interested, do exactly that. And you'll be on our team and you can help us work with this project. We can get it done faster, or we can make it better when we do release, right? There's no reason for us to kick you off of the team once everything is done. You can keep developing for us. Do whatever you want, right? You can chip in and do progress. We don't have a Trello anymore, so we don't have like a to-do chart. We kind of make our own as we go. So there's no stress. If someone stresses you into doing more progress for the game, ignore them. They are not your boss, and we are not your bosses either. You're simply doing this as a passion project. You're doing this on your own accord. You want to see a good MIA game, you're going to make it, right? All right. There's a little bit left to do on this video, and we can head off to develop some of layer 2. I think all that's left in the video is just an outro. Okay, so that was the video. We can now hop into Roblox Studio and start getting some development done. But before I continue, I'm going to do a quick bathroom break because I have to do that. I have bodily needs that I need to attend to. If you guys have questions, go ahead and fill chat with them. Once I come back, I'll answer your questions. Before I go, actually, did everyone hear what I just said? Because I realized that I had my mic muted, and there's a good chance that you guys didn't pick up anything. Okay, I am back. Let's see what questions I need to answer. Okay, Akuma's questions go first. Does NPC have a picture of them when they appear when you talk to them, like those gacha games? Okay, NPCs are a thing, but you'll be looking at their model. Their model might have mouth controls, and you'll see them speaking. So you don't need a picture. It's not going to be like a what are they called? Visual novel. You know, kind of like Doki Doki. It won't be like that. And if their model doesn't do anything, probably because we're lazy and we don't want to add facial controls to their rig, which some of our models do, not all of them. You'll see text on the bottom of the screen and you won't see a picture. I hope that answers that question. Moving on, we have 2 more questions to go. Will there be relics that help us in combat and or in exploration? And if so, how is going to be the process of finding and recollecting relics? Okay, so there will be multiple spawn points of relics throughout the abyss. These relics have a rarity value appended to them. This rarity value goes through a list of that quality level of relic, and it randomly spawns a relic in that location. These locations are set and predictable. If you find them in one spot, you'll find them in that same spot every single time the server restarts. These spawn locations will only spawn relics once. You'll have to wait for the entire server to restart before those relics spawn again. So you can't just farm relics. Yeah, I know. There's a little bit of an issue with my mic. There's a gate that I placed on it so that I can filter out background noise, but that has the adverse side effect of, my mic just cuts out randomly. If you guys need me to repeat anything I say, let me know. Moving on to the last question. One question I had seeing one of the dev streams was, will the creatures have determined spawn points, or will they have random element to their spawn point? Okay, so same thing as the relics. All spawn points are set. They are not random. And the reasoning for that is simple. Terrain is unpredictable, and it has issues with spawning objects on top of them. It would be incredibly difficult to add reliable randomized spawn locations throughout the abyss. One thing I can see definitely happening with a system like this is you'll see relics spawn in walls, and you won't have the ability to collect them. You'll probably see a pop-up saying that you can collect them, but you just can't, because they're in a wall. No, okay. I do know that my mic has a gate, so I wouldn't be surprised if my mic was the one that was having issues. Okay, another question. Will there be NPC divers? Right now, no. We definitely want that. So that's going to be a kind of a future thing, perhaps when we fully deck out Layer 2. It'll probably be a extra content patch after release that'll hopefully fill up anything that's missing, because I know there's going to be a whole lot of missing content. It'll feel pretty barren at first. I'm going to be completely transparent with all of you. I know some of you are expecting like millions of relics that you can collect or whatever, but really we're currently at like 20 or something like that. Expect like a very small pool of content to work with. And the reasoning is simple. Each of these relics have custom setups. These are custom items. They don't use Roblox's item system. So normally you have a tool and you have a model inside that tool and your character equips it on your hotbar. That entire hotbar is gone. We have a custom one. We don't even use the tool asset either. We have something custom in the place of it because we just can't use it. Most of the systems in our game are hand-built for the single purpose of being optimized for the game that we're making. And it also offers us a whole degree of customization that Roblox simply does not give us. This is why people hop off this engine and head to something else like Unity. There's just too many limitations on this platform. We have to make our own plugins and whatnot to get around them. So unfortunately, there's not going to be a whole lot of features that you're probably expecting on release. So no NPC delvers just yet, but we do plan on adding them. I think that is all the questions for now. That does not mean you cannot keep asking. You can go ahead and keep asking as many as you want. Though, because I am going to head into development, I'll be a little distracted with that. Because I tend to lock in, and I tend to tunnel vision for it. But keep yelling at me until I do answer your question. I'll get to it eventually. Okay, we're gonna open up Studio, and I said that I have some progress that I need to do for layer 2. Let's quickly update that text. So we have a small list of things to do, 3 things. We already completed one of them. I want layer 2. So the good thing about the previous streams is that we were kind of diligent with patching up a lot of the issues that we had with the terrain. So we should have only a little bit left to do. Unfortunately, this little bit left is kind of difficult and painstaking. It'll still probably take me a couple hours to get done. But we're almost there. We're almost there. There also needs to be plants that we need to add. I think we might need to make new ones. And we need to distribute these teleport pads all around the abyss. We have 2 of them. We have this list, and we have... Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized that I'm not actually streaming the... Oops. My bad. Okay. That should be streaming that. I realize that it's having issues looking at it. Let me see if I can fix that. Why is it doing that? I don't know. I think I might need a game capture, that's probably the reason. So last stream I was having issues with the game capture. It's kind of fixed now. Kind of isn't. Here it is. Let's place it. I think right here is fine. My only other issue is that game capture does not want to display the actual background, because it would be handy for you guys to see what I'm working on. Oh, interesting question. Akma, how far can monsters follow you? So monsters do have a break distance. It is specific for each mob. They won't keep following you, obviously. You'll eventually lose interest. JCal24 has another question. I'm new on this, so sorry if this was answered before. Is there a carry weight limit? I think this was answered before, but it's okay if I can answer it again. There will be a weight limit. It is kind of annoying the way that we currently have it set. It's a little too much, I'd say. Obviously, this can be upgraded with a bag, so it'll allow you to carry more. But that's pretty much it. Out of the currently known curses, which one would you say is the hardest to add to Roblox? I'm gonna be real with all of you. V is such a great programmer that he could probably do all of them. He was talking to me a while back about how he really wants to get to layer 5, just so that he can do the programming for the curse there. Which shows me, at least, that he can do it and he's willing to do it. So if I were to guess, probably not difficult at all. As for which one is the most difficult, I cannot say. I'm not a programmer. I mean, I am, but I don't do the background programming. I do the visual assets, things like lighting and daylight cycles and whatnot. I don't do any of this other stuff that V does. Okay, so while I'm at it, I need to fix this. I don't know why it's not showing the rest of my screen. Maybe it's because I have a setting for this. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. This was never an issue before, but I'll figure it out. If you guys don't mind the fact that you can't see what else I'm doing, let me know. I can just suck it up and kind of deal with this. Otherwise, I'm just going to mess with this for like hours on end and I'm not going to figure it out. Oops, don't change that. I want to change this. Yeah, I don't know. I might need another capture type. Doesn't seem to want to work with this. If I try using window capture, it won't display the actual viewport, which is a little annoying. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, I have an idea, but you guys are going to have the ability to see my background, which is a little annoying. Where is it? I don't know. I have never had this many issues with OBS in my life. But you know what they say, there's a first time for everything. Yeah, I don't know, there's some features that are missing in my OBS. There used to be a window, not window capture, but I don't remember what it was called. It essentially allowed you to record your entire screen without having to specify which window you're selecting. I usually kept it off because Obviously, that's not a good idea. I wouldn't want people to see my desktop. But I kind of want it right now, and I cannot find it. Okay, I think I might just have to deal with it. Whatever. Unfortunate. Is what it is. Okay, there we go. So, unfortunately, you guys can't see my toolbar, which is a little annoying. I'd love to have you guys have the ability to see that. That's kind of part of the experience. But it is what it is. There will be no game passes. 0. We are not making money off of this. We actually cannot. We legally cannot make money off of this. And that includes virtual currency, because virtual currency can be traded out. Okay. So if you are going to donate, I would suggest looking for our personal links. This is applicable for each developer. I might actually throw some of my own links in the description of this video once it's posted to YouTube, but that'll be for later. This is where you guys can support us. This is like a general location. It has nothing to do with Infinity Abyss. It is completely separate, so we can't technically say that we're making money off of this. It's just you supporting the developers. It should be completely innocent. That's where you guys can support us legally. I remember looking up like all these legal terms in the past, but I forgot each and every single one of them. I used to know the difference between each licensing type. I'm not a lawyer, by the way. I'm not a lawyer, but it pays to look up stuff like this. Okay, so for today's development, we want to work on adding smaller pieces to the terrain. These are climbing pieces for the player. And that will be these things right here. These are predictable surfaces that have a lot of flats that are perfect for the climbing system to hook onto. These are made with a couple training tricks that we learned, as well as some scripts that generate these pieces to a better smoothness level that isn't normally possible with the terrain tool. There are a couple terrain features on this that were added on afterwards, mostly to make it look not so flat and a little bit more natural. But these are optimal for climbing. Now, normally when I do this, I tend to try to think of like how the player will spawn, what they'll do, like how they'll climb down. I think it would be smart if I drag this lower. Somewhere right here Looks pretty good. We're just going to scatter these around the abyss. If you are wondering, these are teleport pads for the layer traverse. If you're at any of these points, you'll go to the subsequent points on the next layer up. These are the top layer teleports. There's a couple more on the bottom that are pretty much the same thing, except these are for going down. These ones right here. And what this essentially allows you to do is, if you are a good player and you memorize these routes, you can essentially plan your expedition, which is really, really handy. And it allows you to kind of make your trip a whole lot easier. You can avoid enemies, you can avoid mobs that might end up killing your party. You can find better places to get food and water. It's just good overall. And in case you're wondering, this is a feature exclusive to Infinity Abyss. As far as I'm concerned, Binary Star does not have this. And yes, I'm going to keep flexing that, because it is a cool feature, and I'm glad that we have it. Oh, there's a cave here. See, this is why I like placing terrain pieces, because you get like unexpected scenarios like this, where this looks like a cave. And I never made this, I just kind of placed terrain pieces on top of each other. That happened on its own. It looks kind of alright. Quickly see if you guys have any extra questions. Does this game have a custom camera? As in like custom camera related settings? I guess to answer that question, sort of, yeah. We need it for special effects. We need it for screen shakes. If it is a problem for you, we'll kind of do a debug on it and we'll see what the issue is so that we can solve it. It's a really, really odd description for a bug. I've never heard of that before. But I believe you. And if it is an issue, we'll figure it out. Okay, so I think that's all of the teleport locations placed. Let's move some of these to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe some of these are closer to the abyss. Maybe some of these are a little bit further out. Oh, this right here is the size comparison in case some of you are interested. This place is absolutely freaking massive in comparison to your character. And it is incredibly deep. So you'll be able to explore all of this without loading screens until you reach the very bottom, in which case you'll see a layer teleport and you'll move to a separate place. Those are the only loading screens you'll ever come across, hopefully. Dude, this is freaking awesome. At least I think so. What was that spawn point? I think it's right here. Okay, with that done, we can go ahead and place some of these terrain pieces. I just needed those added so that I can make my way down with these pieces right here. It's a good place to start from to know where the players will actually spawn in. And in case if some of you are wondering how I actually place these pieces, this is literally how I do it. I have to do this for every single one of them. So if any of you are wondering why this step takes forever to do, this is exactly why. I have to drag this all the way down. As far as I'm concerned, there's no way to automate this. I mean, V has tried to work on terrain plugins that allow this to work in a way that gives us some space. Oops, I did a fuck up there. Okay. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, easy fix. Will there be a food and or hunger system? The answer is yes. And it has been iconically the most annoying system for players to deal with before the game was shut down for overhauls. It is still annoying, in case you're wondering. It is like the worst thing ever you have to deal with. And I honestly hope we get it kind of adjusted, because your hunger and your thirst kind of depletes a little bit too quickly. I don't know. V likes it. So I don't think I can have much of the ability to question him in that choice. But I'll try to ask him to see if we can kind of reduce that. In case of any of you are wondering, he is consistently the reason why that system has been as irritating for players as it has been. He's the one that controls all those values, and he's the one who implements it in the first place. I don't touch it. I could, though. He does let me go through his scripts. But I tend to not to, unless I know exactly what I'm doing. I think that makes some sense. You can definitely climb down from that. Look for another spot to place this. does monsters in this game have canon ones or fanon ones? There are a couple fanon monsters that we've added. This is mostly for development reasons. It's easier for us to just kind of make up shit as we go. But there are a lot of canon creatures as well. Most of the fanon ones are just filler. I wish I could show you guys some of the creatures that we added, but I think I've shown so much, like, of stuff that we've been kind of keeping hidden for the public for a good while now that I'd be a little reluctant showing anything else. But I might. We'll see. There's a lot of things that I need to ask for permission for. And I tend to do things on my own accord, which is not a good idea. If any of you guys ever get to work with a programmer, do yourself a solid favor. Try not to get in their way. If they want privacy with some of the scripts that they're working on, don't just going around and showing some of the features that they're trying to implement. Because they likely want to show those features out themselves. It irritates the crap out of them. Because in their eyes, they see unfinished work, whereas other people will kind of see it as the final product. I can duplicate this. Try to make sense of it later. Oh, you know what I forgot to add? I forgot to add music. I was so busy trying to set up the stream that I completely forgot to actually get the music in. My bad, we'll go ahead and do that right now. Quick question, is the music loud enough? Oh, without headphones you can barely hear the music. Okay. I'll bump it up a little bit more. On my end it's pretty loud. But you are the boss, and I'll go ahead and bump it up. Is that better? question. Can lower the volume of that. Sorry, I didn't answer that question immediately. I was a little locked in. Okay, so JKL24 said, will we be able to reset our progress so that we can start from 0 again when we want to? You'll have save files that you can go through. Other than that, I don't think you can reset your progress at the moment. But it's definitely something we should add. At the current method that we have everything set up, you get 3 save files and that's it. It might change on your release. You never know. on a quick food break. See you guys in like 2 minutes, maybe. Alright, lunch break is over. Let's get back to development. I did take a little bit more than 2 minutes, but to be fair, I had quite a bit to eat. Alright. So I did not place a whole lot of smaller terrain pieces, which is kind of just me getting sidetracked. You know what's funny about the anime for Layer 2? They don't actually explore it as much as they do Layer 1. Which is a weird statement to say, but it's kind of true. They do like little snippets here and there. I don't have a whole lot to work with. So I had to kind of guess based on like what I can see with the official. Yep. I disconnected, my bad. It should still be up. I don't know. Let me know if you guys see any issues with the stream, because apparently I disconnected for like 5 seconds. I have no clue what the issue is. Oh, there we go. I guess I'm back.
And my biggest utility is my Wi-Fi. Everything is cloud. Wi-Fi is out. That is very feedback. It's willing to let me Derek I'm renting, yeah. It is, going into the universe, bring me back. Where do you? I think that's what you do now. I found good shit. Well, I do want to hear a couple or something that a lot of people
Alright, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little tired. This is pretty exhausting stuff. It's not exactly exhilarating. I'll be answering some final questions. If you guys have any, let me know. Other than that, we'll be ending the stream in about 5 minutes.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't understand.
No problem. Assuming that's pretty much all the questions that have been wanting to be asked for the stream. There were a couple of them throughout the duration of it. We'll be ending it here. Thank you everyone for hopping on to the stream. Doodles.